Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jamie Bacon. I'm at the railway trail right off Palmetto Road. I hope you can hear me all right because I can tell that there are lots of cars passing by. It's a bit of a gray day, but we're going to take an adventure on the railway trail and see what we see because it's springtime. And in springtime there are lots of flowers. So as you can see, this is kind of a disturbed area. We'll get up a little bit closer, but most of the stuff that we see growing along the edges of the railway trail might be considered weeds. So a weed is something that's a plant that really is growing where we don't really want it to grow or haven't planted it. But this is springtime, so there are a lot of things in flower, but you have to really look closely. Okay, I think most of you will recognize this. This is the morning glory. Such a pretty plant, but you can see it's a vine and it grows over lots of things. It's extremely invasive, which means it's a bully. So those poor plants that it grows over and covers and takes away all their light, well, it can actually kill them. And I've seen a whole grove of citrus trees carpeted with morning glory vines, and every tree underneath was dead, probably for lack of light. Well, this is really fun. What would springtime be without nasturtiums? But everybody's getting in on the business growing here. Now, you'll notice that where everything grows, there's plenty of light. So we have our orange nasturtiums, we have our white beggar's tick, we have our plantain, we have wall fumitory in here, and I know I saw it up, some glandular eupatorium. And everybody is just all in bloom, advertising, we're here, come pollinate us. And over here, these look like miniature daisies. But they're not daisies. This is white beggar's tick. We'll learn more about this too. The flowers look very harmless. But the fruit, and it's just starting to fruit right in the middle there. Those are those nasty little things that get stuck to your socks. Okay, now, if the wind doesn't blow it away, we're standing at a tall beggar's tick, and the bee just took off, but we were watching pollination in action. We'll come down a little bit out of the wind, and these gorgeous white clusters of flowers, hopefully I can get them a little more in focus. Right. This is a strange name. This is called glandular eupatorium. So it looks really nice, but boy, you don't want your horse to eat it, because it would make them very sick. So it's actually poisonous to horses, but strangely enough, sheep can eat them just fine. More treasure, rouge plant. So you can see the flowers are really quite tiny, but the berries are nice and big and bright red. Bright red berries means birds come eat me. I had these fed to chickens, and they thought they were like candy. Now I wanted to show you this. This is a pink sorrel that grows all over the place where it shouldn't in my yard. But it looks very similar to this white one. But the white one, unfortunately, it's blowing in the wind. Let me see if I can hold it. Hold on. Very similar in shape, but a totally different plant. Interesting. And then it's just full of flowers around here. From dandelions and false freesias to plantains, sorrels, and things I don't know what they are, which there's a lot of things I don't know what they are, but they're sure pretty. Ah, we found another treasure. This is called false freesia. Some people call it Star of the Veldt, but if you Google Star of the Veldt, it looks very different. But we see this all over the place. Even in Oscar the alligator's enclosure, we have this. And then right next to it is another gorgeous yellow dandelion. Now up here we have asparagus fern. Very invasive. So it's not in flower yet, but it won't be long. Yet another treasure found. This one is quite tall, actually, with bright white flowers. Each flower seems to have just 4 petals, though, where most of them tend to have 5. Now you may have this plant in your garden, I know I do, but it's also here. It's wall fumitory. That's kind of a silly name, isn't it? Tiny tubular flowers with bright kind of red-purple ends. Grows kind of haphazard all over the place. All right, look what else we found. Another little treasure. Tiny yellow flower. So if you see flowers that have white or colorful petals, that means that they're designed for some insect to come pollinate them so that they can make seeds and make new plants. All right, I'm not sure what this is. This is on a tree, but it's a gorgeous cluster of flowers. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were scented too, to help attract a pollinator. Oh my goodness, I almost missed this. I hope you can see a tiny, tiny white flower. So most of these flowers are growing close to the ground, and right near it is something really special. Look at that beautiful blue flower. So I'm not sure what these are. They don't have to be big to be able to attract an insect. But there's all sorts of these little white flowers here. Well, there's there, but I'm not sure if this is even a different one. Little cup-like ones. You just have to get down and look, and you'll be surprised at what you see. Flowers everywhere. All sorts of different types. They're very different. You can see on the right side are kind of star-shaped flowers, and in the left middle is a cup-shaped flower. Well, I found the darker blue flowers. Maybe it's a totally different species, but plentiful here. Well, I just discovered a whole batch of these little flowers. They're mostly blue, and they have the look almost of little pansies. I don't think they're the same as the other blue flower because they're not nearly as dark blue, but they're very, very pretty. Okay, this looks kind of like just a bunch of weeds. Oh, but if you sneak down, you see some real treasure. So here are some little yellow flowers. These are wireweed. But then we have an absolute gorgeous dandelion flower. I'll get a little more close at the wireweed. And if I walk up a little bit without hopefully making you seasick, this is sow thistle. Very common. This is growing out of my sidewalk even. Alright, so we can't ignore that grasses are also flowering at the same time. Now their flowers aren't fancy because they don't need to attract animals to pollinate them. They use the wind. So these are flowers, they're just not very fancy flowers. But we have some other flowers right next door. So these are animal pollinated. And it looks like one like here, that's already been pollinated and it's starting to make its fruit, whatever its fruit is. See how big and swollen that's getting? So I've just stopped again. I'm having a great time. And if you sneak down, hopefully you can see, there's little clover flowers, little yellow clover flowers. But then up here is a gorgeous pink flower, and this is either lantana or sage. Again, it's springtime. Everybody's getting in the act. Wow, what a way to end my walk. I don't know if this is coming off clear to you, but these are the stalks of two enormous century plants, and there up the top are these gorgeous, huge clusters of yellowy gold flowers. And from what I understand, these plants only produce flowers once in their lifetime. What an effort, what a tremendous, tremendous size to produce. Aren't flowers amazing? Well, I'm at the end of my walk. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I think I saw at least 20 to 25 different species of flowers, all different, all out there trying to get somebody to come and pollinate them. It's definitely spring on the railway trail. I hope you get to come out and enjoy it as much as I did. Bye.